Hi everyone, I wanted to welcome you to Biology 1 here at LSCPA, especially if you're taking this class online. I wanted to go over some of the things that you might run into when you take this course through Blackboard. So welcome, I'm looking forward to a great semester with you, and let's share my screen so that we can review some of this information. So when you first log into Blackboard, you might run into this screen right here. What you want to do is go to Courses. And I really don't like this list view because like you see, I have tons of classes and they all look the same. So what I suggest students do is click this little button right here to get to this tabbed view. I made these icons so that you can easily find my class. What you're looking for is Biology 1 and Biology 1 Lab. You're taking both of these courses, so you need to make sure to log into both of these courses on a weekly basis. So let's jump in and look at Biology 1 since that's what we're discussing. When you first log into class, it's going to look very blank and very empty, and that's done on purpose because this course is something called adaptive release, meaning that I only want you to see the most pertinent information. I don't want you to see everything all at once and get overwhelmed. So I made it to where only one box opens at a time. That means that it's up to you to stay on task and make sure that you're logging in every week and taking care of your coursework, because the next assignment won't open until this first assignment is turned in. So we'll go over these things at the top in a second. Right now what I want to look at is class information. It says not started because this hypothetical student has not started the class yet. So let's look at this class information. Right here we have class introduction, we have Tasha, we have a syllabus check, and then down at the bottom we have something called tutor.com and Timely Care. These are both free resources that LSCPA has provided for you. If you click the links in Blackboard, it automatically logs you into your account and you can access these resources for free. If you try to access them outside of Blackboard, it'll ask you to log in. So I suggest that you log in through Blackboard. Tutor.com is a great resource. It is 24/7 online one-on-one tutoring, so you can log in and sign up for a one-on-one session with a live tutor who is a content expert. So that tutor may not be familiar with my class in particular, but they will be familiar with all the concepts of biology and be able to help you. Timely Care is a mental health resource, and I am not as familiar with this resource because it's new to LSCPA, but I think it's a great resource if you're ever feeling stressed, overwhelmed, you have things going on outside of class that are stressing you out. You can click on this resource. But first, let's go to the class introduction. So on the class introduction, I've made this introduction slideshow, but you can also scroll down and see some of my links. If you want to schedule a face-to-face or a virtual meeting with me, you need to click this calendar. Every student at LSCPA has an account for ConnectSed, that's what this is. But if you're having trouble the very first time you click on it, it may need you to reset your password. So if you have trouble scheduling, try resetting your password and then click on the link again, because when you click on this link and you're logged into my LSCPA, you should automatically jump to my calendar and you can schedule a face-to-face or a virtual meeting with me. Down at the bottom, you have my office hours. I know it looks packed because it is. I teach a lot of classes, but anything in the blue, I am fully available for students to just walk in my office and chat me up. Anything outside of the blue, you will have to schedule a meeting with me. Anything green or yellow is a class where I am occupied. So unless you're in that class, I won't be available at those times. You can also scan this link, but it's the same as this. You'll be able to go right to my calendar. These useful links are really important because they help you throughout this class. So of course there's the syllabus. I do want you to click on the syllabus and review the syllabus, but some of the information I have parsed out in easier to understand pieces, such as the calendar. If you ever want to print or copy the calendar or syllabus, you have to use these links. But just to view it, you can click this link. This is our calendar for this class Biology 1. The dates will update. So this one says 8/28/23. I'll reuse this recording, so if it's the next year, that's okay. The dates will automatically update. But this part will stay mostly the same. We go over pre-assessments the first week of class. Those are all due the first Friday. So right off the bat, you have assignments due, but these are all pre-assignments designed to help you be successful later on in the course. And I'll discuss those pre-assessments later. The second week of class is when lecture actually begins, and you will take a quiz every single Friday. You get 2 chances to take these quizzes, and I suggest that you use them as a learning opportunity because the quiz is almost exactly the same as the exam. I use the same test bank. So if you're doing really well on the quizzes, you'll probably do really well on the exam. If you're not doing too hot on the quiz, you get a second chance to take it. Don't just take it and hope for the best. I want you to go back and study, and I have provided a multitude of study resources, and you can access these resources through this link or through Blackboard, and we'll get back to that in a second. You can see the order that I teach in, and then lab will also have a calendar which looks similar to this. You can also see all of the due dates listed, so you can never miss a due date. They're here for you. They don't change unless something crazy happens, and then I will send an announcement. But these due dates are pretty much set in stone, especially for the exams. I do not change the exam dates. Now, this is either an online or a hybrid class, meaning that all of this stuff is available online. If you're ever absent from class or you have an emergency, all of this information is available for multiple weeks. So there is no extensions, even for emergency cases, because these assignments are open as you complete them. So for instance, the exam is open for more than a week. It's up to you to be responsible and schedule time for that exam. All right, going back to this, you can view the syllabus. There's also a link to more student resources that are provided by LSCPA, and there's link to 24/7 Blackboard help. This is really important. If you ever have any issues with Blackboard or Respondus, which we'll learn about Respondus today, they are the people who can help you, and you can call them 24/7. You can call them at midnight and get a live person to help you. We are using free resources in this class, so you are not required to purchase a textbook or a lab manual. So please click on this link and become familiar with the textbook. It's a free online resource. You can create a free account and you can actually make highlights in the book and print those highlights out. It is a really great resource for you. I have created the free lab manual, and the free lab manual will be very important, and you will have to print out a page from the lab manual every single week. So let's go ahead and look at that. When you come to the free lab manual, you can't print it out because the important thing about it is the links here. So you notice that it looks very similar to our calendar in lecture. That's because we do very similar types of assignments in labs so that we can mirror what we're learning and support what we're learning in lecture. So for this first week, before you come to lab, you will click on this link and it will ask you to make a copy of it. I want you to go ahead and make a copy. And if you have any issues opening these documents, it's Google Docs, meaning if you have a Mac and are using Safari, you might have trouble. Also, if you're not logged into a Google account, you might have trouble. So make a free Google account if you don't already have one. I've also had issues with students previously who were using a work computer, and the work computer would block the Google documents. But these are all free public links, so you should be able to access them with just a little troubleshooting. Now, this is your copy of the document. It is automatically saved in your Google Drive, but what I want you to do is print it out. Okay, once you print it out, you have a paper copy, and it doesn't matter whether you're in face-to-face lab or online lab, you'll still print it out. If you're in face-to-face lab, you will bring this to class every single week. So don't come to class without this printed out, or you will be coming to class unprepared. If you're at home and you're doing it at home, if you're absent from lab or you're taking the course online, what I want you to do is scan this top left QR code. The top left QR code is a video of us doing the lab, and I will give away all of the answers. So you get all of the answers for free by watching that video. I try to make them as short as possible, but they're usually about 30, 40 minutes long because that's how long it takes to get through all of the material. At the end, you can save your notes, keep your notes, don't throw them away, and you can use it to take your lab quiz, not your lecture quiz, but your lab quiz. So this is a great resource for you. It's free. Print it, use it, scan the QR codes, try to have fun, and you can use these on your lab quizzes. Back to Blackboard, we've explored the free textbook and the free lab manual. Let's look at this introduction. If you want to make this large, you can click this button down at the bottom. Take your time and explore this. It has good information in it, but I will just skip to the things that I think that are most important for this class. Once you get to objectives, you can see a link to class expectations. That's kind of what I expect of you as a student. My class expectation is that you log in at least once a week and complete your weekly assignments. The course overview is more of what the syllabus says, just what are we going to go over? What is chapter 1? What is chapter 2? The course syllabus also links to Tasha, which is our teaching assistant, and I'll talk about her in a minute. And contact the teacher. We already talked about how to contact the teacher, but this is more of the same information, how to contact the teacher. You can also introduce yourself. This links to a free Flipgrid, which is kind of like Snapchat. Teachers, we love to take something fun and make it super lame. So that's what I've done. It is similar to Snapchat where you can record like a 30-second video of yourself. But this is completely optional and you don't have to do this. It's also very private. Only other students in this course can see those recordings. Let's go to other information. Other information, you can see my useful links. They're live, but they're also the same ones that were on the last page. Here are more student resources. Here you can find tutor.com. You can find Timely Care, but also Title V and the Student Success Center, Disability Services, and the Food Pantry. Now let's talk about disability services for a second. If you have any kind of disability, you need to connect with disability services in order to get accommodations for your course. If you need things read aloud, if you need extended test taking time, that is between you and student services. I do not make that decision. So make sure that if you are expecting accommodations in your course, for instance, extended test taking time is the most common one. I need to have a letter from disability services, so you have to connect with them. I also want to talk about the Student Success Center. Inside of the Student Success Center is something called the Student Testing Center. And the Student Testing Center is where you can take my exams if you don't have a personal device. The last thing that I wanted to go over is Respondus Monitor. In our class, we will be using a program that locks your computer so you can't look at anything other than the exams. And it will also monitor you with your webcam, meaning I can actually visually watch you take your exam. This is a required part of the course. You have to download this on your computer. Now, there's different instructions for Macs, Chromebooks, and iPads, but they all do the same thing. They're going to lock your computer, and I'm going to watch you take your exam. Now, it is a facial software, a facial tracking software, so there are some tricks to using it. For instance, don't have your lights super bright, don't have your lights super dark. Make sure your face is within frame. Make sure that your hair is pulled back so that I can see your ears. No earbuds, no headphones, no sunglasses, no hats. Anything that's going to obscure your face will flag your test for cheating. Now, I don't have time to watch every single recording, so if you do not want me to watch your recording, make sure that you follow those guidelines, because I tend to only watch the ones that are flagged for cheating. And the ones that get flagged for cheating are the ones who have their face obscured. So please have your face visible, and don't cheat, basically. It will see if you have a phone and you're constantly looking down or looking to the side, looking at another device. It will see if you have papers in front of you. Now, lab class, you're allowed to have your lab notes. Lecture class is completely closed notes. So all of your lecture course will use Respondus Monitor. Your lab class, only the tests will use Respondus Monitor. So make sure that you're being academically responsible. If you do not want to be monitored and you do not want to download this program on your computer, you can still take the course, but you will have to take all of your assignments inside of the Student Testing Center. You can click this link to go to their website and schedule an appointment. They will not take walk-ins. You have to schedule it, and we have an assignment due every single week, so that means you're required to complete these assignments once a week. So if that's not convenient for you, then download the Respondus Monitor and take your assignments at home. If you don't want to download Respondus Monitor, you have to use the Student Testing Center. So that is what I wanted to go over regarding this introduction. Once we've gone over the introduction, you're allowed to move on to the next thing, which in this case is Tasha. Tasha is our virtual teaching assistant, and she can answer questions about the syllabus. She is a chatbot, so keep everything keep that in mind and take everything with a grain of salt. But I've played with her a lot. I've worked with her, trying to teach her the best answers. And so if this is a resource that you would like to use, that's great. I would love to hear feedback. She can answer any questions about the syllabus. She can tell you when the test date is. She can tell you what to study for the test. So another really great resource. After that, there is the syllabus check. This is a quiz. It says F right now because the due date has passed, but you can still start the attempt. And it says, did you read the syllabus? If you didn't, here's the syllabus up here and the course introduction, which we just went over. So you can click on the syllabus and read the syllabus. It says, I have reviewed the syllabus and course information. I have not, but I'll do so now. So we did review the course information, so I'm going to submit it. And now you'll notice that a whole new window opened. Now I can move on to the next thing because I've already completed all of the class information. Now I can go to the Start Here folder. This is what's due the first week of class. All of this is due the first week of class, and it's in order to prepare you for the next week. You need to complete the beginning course scavenger hunt, the academic responsibility waiver, the team sign up, and the Respondus practice test. The Respondus practice test is what will guide you through downloading the program and certain questions to inform you about how the program works. You don't need to study for the practice test, just take it. If you have any issues with Respondus and downloading it on the computer, that's when you would reach out to the 24/7 Blackboard help right here. So reach out to them if you're having trouble with Respondus. The team sign up. Everyone is required to be part of a team and complete a group work assignment worth 20% of your grade. That's a very large portion of your grade. So make sure that you are signed up for a team as soon as possible. It doesn't matter who your teammates are, but the earlier you sign up, the better your team will be. So make sure that you follow the instructions here. You will go to groups and find a group that is available and press join. That's all you have to do, but make sure that you come back and complete the team sign up waiver. It just says I signed up for a team. Academic responsibility is a set of questions that is asking you to either agree or disagree. Here's a hint, you kind of have to agree to everything or you won't be successful in the course. It's saying that I agree not to plagiarize, I agree to do my homework, I agree to work as a team. those kinds of things. So please just complete all of these for me. And then once those are complete, the next assignment will open up. The next assignment is going to be your Unit 1. So Unit 1, the Chemistry of Life. When you go to Unit 1, you will see the unit lesson at the top, and then you can take Quiz 1 or Quiz 2, Quiz 3, or the exam. You cannot take the exam until you've completed the 3 quizzes, and you can't take the next quiz until the first quiz is completed. So make sure that you're working every week so you don't turn in the exam late. The lessons are all up here. If you have any questions, you can email me or contact me, but all the lessons will be at the top. So we can press start. If we're learning about 1.1 chemical foundations, we're preparing for the first quiz, this is what we would click. It's highly interactive. You can look at different parts of the just different parts of the periodic table. We can go to the next page. Every single quiz will have one of these PowerPoints, and these are the PowerPoints that I go over in lecture. If you click this link right here, it opens up notes. These notes are completely optional. They are not required, but they may be extra credit if you complete them. These are guided notes to help you study. Then you can go through the lesson. I'm working on creating videos for these, but I don't have those created yet. It's a very time-consuming task. So if these PowerPoints don't work out for you taking the notes, there are other resources available for you. So these are the chapter assignments. This is another link to those laboratory write-ups that need to be printed and brought to lab every single week. The chapter quiz, this is just a reminder. It actually links back to Blackboard, so you don't need to click the link because you're already in Blackboard, but it's a reminder that you have a chapter quiz every single week. Now, you get 2 chances to take the quiz. The first time, I suggest students just take it and see how they do. You've already gone through the notes, you've already gone through the PowerPoint. Take that quiz and see how you do. If you make a 90, go ahead and move on to the next section. But if you make a 20 or a 30, maybe go back and do the chapter homework. The chapter homework is optional. You do not need to turn in the chapter homework. It may be extra credit, but you don't need to turn it in. But it's a really great resource because if you click on it, we're going to make a copy. The chapter homework walks you through the unit, okay? Each question has an instructional video, and then after you complete the instructional video, you can follow the instructions. So this one is play the video above and drag the words to the matching definition. So I would drag these words to the definition, okay? And it's easier to do this with a mouse than with a touchpad, so I suggest students use a mouse. So you can learn about water here, and then you can move these over to the correct category. So this represents adhesion, this represents cohesion. And if you want to know what adhesion and cohesion is, then you need to watch the video. Okay. It walks through, there's quite a bit of information here, so I suggest some students, they might want to just watch the videos that they're struggling with. So if you know water really well, but you don't know the periodic table, maybe skip just to the periodic table. Again, this is completely optional. I will accept it as extra credit, but it's completely optional. And I suggest that you do this if you're having trouble with the quiz. So if you didn't do so hot on the quiz, go back and do the chapter homework and then click on the quiz again and take it that second time for a better grade. The last thing that's available on these slides is extra study resources. All of these are linked to great study resources. This is the textbook, and it's linked directly to the chapter that we're going over. These are vocabulary flashcards. I think the vocabulary flashcards are actually a little more difficult than the quiz, so it's also a really great resource because if you're good at those flashcards, you're going to do well on the quiz. And then this is a link to Blookit, which is an interactive game. It uses the same words as the flashcards, so it's just a different way of studying the same material, but students like it. It's fun. You can play games and quiz yourself. Right now, I do not have these linked, but I will work on having these linked where you can complete a coloring page. I know I like to color, other students really like to color, so that is my current project, is working on these art coloring links. So if they work, great. If they don't work, just be patient with me. If you ever run into any of these links that are bad, email me with a specific description of where you clicked the link. So this would be quiz 1.1 PowerPoint, because sometimes the company will change the links on me and I have to go update the links. So just let me know if you ever have any trouble with the links. This is where you would get all of the information for your quizzes. So when you're working on 1.1, you'll go here. When you're working on 1.2, you can go here. You also have self-evaluation, meaning you can quiz yourself without it being a grade. So this is the quiz for 1.1. Just tell quizzes what your name is, and it will start a game, quiz, or anything that you want to learn about 1.1. This one would be 1.2, and this one would be 1.3. Just use them at your discretion. I use the exact same test bank, so if you practice the quizzes, you might do really well on the actual assessments. So all of these are free resources that are provided for you by myself and LSCPA. That is basically how to navigate the course. Let's look at some other objects, some other things in the course. You can always view the calendar. The calendar will have the next due date available to you. I don't think it works too far ahead, but as you complete one, the next due date will pop up. So right now it says I have one item due. All the due dates are loaded, but it only reveals the next one. You can also look at due dates right here, and then I can see everything because I'm the teacher. Make sure to check announcements regularly. You see that I have all of them pre-scheduled. They're there to help you stay on track. Also, if something happens during the semester and I need to make a quick announcement, it will be here. So make sure to check your announcements. They don't always send an email. So please make sure to check these. Also, the next time that you log in, they should pop up. But myself, I close those as fast as possible and sometimes miss what they say. So make sure that you check the announcements. The discussion board is available for students to discuss the course amongst themselves. If you're having a question that you think another student could answer, you can use the discussion board, but it's not graded. The grade book. The grade book is going to list all of your grades that have opened so far. So I can see all of them because I'm the teacher, but you will only be able to see the ones that you've worked on so far. The grade is a letter grade, meaning that I don't focus on percentage, because a 90 is the same as a 99 and an 80 is the same as an 89. So we don't really focus on percentages. We focus on your overall grade, which is going to be a letter grade. But the breakdown is participation is going to be 10%. Group work, which is your team, is going to be 20%. Assignments are 30% and exams are 40%. So you really need to stay on task. Complete all of your weekly assignments. That's worth 30% of your grade. But if you do your weekly assignments, it prepares you for the test. So those weekly assignments really roll into 70% of your grade. Working with a team is 20%. This is an easy assignment. You work together, you get it done. It's 20%. It's a freebie A. Make sure that you finish, okay? Anyone who finishes is usually going to do really well. And then participation is my catch-all. Anything that I feel like goes into participation. So these will pop up throughout the semester, but mainly at the beginning of the semester with those pre-assessments. I don't really use messages in Blackboard, so the best way to contact me is, like I discussed before, through ConnectEd or email. Let's take a look at lab for a second. When we go to lab, lab is structured very similar to lecture, but it's a little bit stripped down. The grading scale is the same. You still have to sign up for a group, and the announcements are up here, but you will only be able to see, one unit at a time. So also please make sure to stay on task with lab. Don't neglect lab. When you are taking these quizzes, the lab handout is linked at the top of them, so you can click the lab handout and print it out, complete the lab handout by hand, and then you can use it to take an OpenNote quiz. You can use your notes to take the quiz. The quiz is only 5 questions long, and I only want the quiz to prove that you've done the handout. So make sure to stay on top of those handouts. Whether you're face-to-face or online or absent, you still print these handouts, complete them on paper, and then take the quiz. It's all OpenNote. Everything in lab is OpenNote. You also will have a team assignment, so make sure that you sign up for a group because this team assignment is going to be worth 20% of your lab grade. Make sure that you get it done. All right, if you have any other questions about class, feel free to contact me, and I would be so happy to help you answer any questions you have. If I'm not familiar with the answer, I will investigate and find the answer for you. I look forward to a great semester, and I hope that you have a great semester as well.